Get in, nerds. We are playing Burden of Command. We are about to hit the beach in Morocco. Our first mission overseas. So let's see how things go. But first, let's aid our men. Let me see. We've named ourselves Lieutenant Murphy. Let's take a look at where we are. So, first squad is up to level 2. That's fine. Second squad is close to level 2. We'll throw some extra points in there. Don't have any extra experience for any of our platoon leaders, unfortunately. Let me see. Third squad is close to level 2. So we've leveled up second squad. Yeah, we got a lot of squads that are close. Any others I can get over the line? Let's go with getting third squad up to 2 stars. Let me see. I got one more upgrade I can do with the prestige I've got. So, we'll throw that into our mortar squad. I really think getting our mortar squad a little bit more experience is good. We don't tend to use the mortars that much, but we should. Alright. So, that is all we've got the points for right now. Let's get going. Everything is very simple in war, but the simplest thing is difficult. Clausewitz. Interesting. Red Beach. November 8th, 1942, Morocco. Technically a free French holding. Technically a French holding, rather. It's held by the Vichy French.
Finally, on the 5th day, we got the news. I mean, what we'd been waiting to hear. They handed out little guidebooks. I remember the first line. You are to do duty in North Africa as a soldier of the United States.
November 8th, off the coast of Morocco. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so we're attacking Fedala. That's our location.
We were green as grass. Thought that just being on that ship was
8th November, 1942, off the coast of Morocco. It's been 4 long hours since you loaded up. The men have long since given up being dry, let alone warm. Your platoon hunkers down in the grumbling belly of the landing boat, huddled together in the moonless dark. Sprays of ocean waves surge over the bow. The rumble of the engine pitches upwards. The boat enters yet another slow turn, and the agony of that delay spreads across the tense faces of your green troops. Not pictured. Guys barfing in the landing craft. A dim red light flickers. The coxswain, a young man in dark blue dungarees, leans forward at the control deck to inspect a fuel gauge with a flintered flashlight. He taps the glass cover with a worried look on his face, then returns his attention to the dark seas. With both hands, he shifts the control wheel to keep the boat steady amid a flotilla of landing craft whose engines are far quieter than your own. Hey, coxswain, do we have enough gas? Increase rapport with him. Lean back and let him work. Small rapport increase with the coxswain, trust +2. Stay focused on my men, our turn will come, trust +5. Gotta stay focused on my men. No offense to the coxswain here. I think at this point in history, these landing craft are all... I think these guys are all still Navy men. And, you know, there's a little bit of a friendly inter-service rivalry between the various branches, so, you know, I'm going to stay focused on my guys. The coxswain stares over the top of your men and across the bow, intent on the seas ahead. Behind him lie the silhouettes of the invasion fleets, black against the starlit sky. White waves surge as other landing boats make a radical turn. Engines deepen their growl in the distance. The coxswain throttles up. Checking with my squad leaders. See if Private Roberts has held down his Navy chow. High chance of trust +3. Ask Hancock about his modified weapon. Even chance of trust +6. Morris and Patterson probably have a joke ready. Low chance of trust +6. Okay. I stored this earlier during training. I'm going to ask him about it. You locate Hancock deck, at the front of the craft, right at the prow. He's taking the spectacle like it was a carnival, heedless of the slam of waves and constant spray. He says something about making the submachine gun less difficult to aim, but few in the platoon are paying attention. Okay. A rumble like a freight train passes overhead. A fountain of water bursts into the night sky. White flashes shatter the darkness of the shore. Shells scream overhead towards the transports you left behind. Private Roberts hastily finishes puking over the side. He's now completely done with his breakfast. Sergeant Grant leans over to the private and asks loudly above the din, "You all right, Roberts?" "How could I not be?" Private Roberts replies. He tries out a weak grin, clearly more for Grant's benefit than his own. "I'm off that rusty bathtub of a ship, and no one shot me yet. This is about as good as it gets, Sarge." Not the most ranging endorsement of a soldier's duty, to be sure. Private Hancock eases back to Robert's side. "Come up, Frost. The air's better. Come up front. The air's better there. Trust me." The engine sputters, dying down to a low rumble. You turn to see the coxswain heaving the wheel of the helm with all his might, eyes wide in terror. You lurch to the side as the boat goes into a hard turn away from the shore. Sergeant Grant watches you stand back up. "What the hell is that swabby doing?" Grant asks as the boat keeps turning. Shove the coxswain from the helm. Brandish my carbine at the Navy man. Trust the coxswain not to screw up. I don't know the first thing about driving a boat. So, yes, okay, so here we go. We have a confirmation he's in the Navy. I can't keep not doing anything here, but burnishing my carbine is not the right call. I trust him not to screw up. The coxswain reaches for the throttle and the engine roars back to life. He jerks the wheel over. Something dark beneath the water flashes past on either side. Ahead, another boat capsizes, spilling its human cargo into the sea. You hear Captain Lamb shout above the din as your boat zips past. The coxswain slows the engine, turns the wheel hard once, twice, and then throttles up once more. A sonorous vibration ripples through the wood beneath your feet. Close one? What the hell was that? Or let him drive or pilot or whatever this is. Close one? The coxswain lets out a weary sigh as the vibration fades away. Madre de Dios, this wasn't in the briefing. He mutters softly and then clears his throat. 100 yards from landing, Lieutenant. What once seemed like a pale line in the horizon is now a vast expanse of starlit sand. We'll be exposed until we reach the dunes. We must move fast, move inland. Countless drills were for this moment. I'm going to say we must move fast, move inland. The hull shudders beneath you. The coxswain throttles back the engine in the quiet afterward he yells, "Debark now!" "I see sand," Private Hancock yells from the bow, and then leaps over the side. "Go, go, go!" Roberts over the side, or leap over the side. I'm going to yell, "Go, go, go!" Your men pour over the sides, splashing into frothing water. After a moment, you follow. The moment you drop onto the surf, the chill of the ocean numbs your toes. The awful stink of gasoline thickens the air as you struggle onto the sand. All around lie wrecked boats and sprawled men. "This is one big snafu," Patterson grasps as he crawls forward, belly against the sand. "Half the French army's shooting at me." "Gee," Morris replies as he hugs the beach just a few feet away. "Maybe they're tired of you flapping your gums already." You blink aside the sting of salt spray and spy a huddle of men just a few yards off. Sergeant Grant is among them, his features etched by flashes of distant gunfire. "Lieutenant," Sergeant Grant calls to you. "First and second squads are here, but the third squad scattered itself good. Can't even find Roberts." 20-odd men from your platoon. A bare 2 squads of queasy salt-splash soldiers. Not enough. Where's the rest of the company? Like Patterson said, snafu. Where's the rest of the company? Wherever the rest of Nickel Company is, that isn't here. Corporal Crosley passes his bar to his assistant and then recovers a .30 cal that dangles from a wrecked boat, adopting it into the platform's arsenal of democracy. Just like that, you've got machine gun support. Ocean waves crash in, drenching your men afresh. You have to get them moving. Off the beach, let's go, remove fog of war. 3rd squad, 1st platoon, rally on me, rally 3rd squad. Or shout a prepared surrender and demand to the French, reduce French morale. Ooh. A free rally is really, really good. So I'm going to rally. You give a shout and flash hand signals. The men trickle in. A distant machine gun cracks out rounds all the while. Hot lead splinters the wooden hull of the nearby boats. In the flare of the distant guns, you catch sight of a figure with an American helmet. A glint of return fire reveals the silver oak leaves of Lieutenant Colonel. Lieutenant, the Lieutenant Colonel calls as he forges his way towards you, brushing aside the chaos all around them. Colonel, sir, salute, just stare at him. Colonel, sir, I'm verbose. That I am, Lieutenant Colonel Moore replies, eventually as a salvo of shells scream overhead. I don't recognize you, son. Who are you with? The metallic rattle of the machine gun fills the air once more. A panicked scream rises, high and raw, before being cut short. I'm with Nickel Company. Well, I'm with you, sir. Sarcasm +1. We're the Pathfinders to the 3rd Platoon. 1st Company, Nickel Battalion. 1st Platoon, Nickel Company, 3rd Battalion. Verbosity and directness +1. I do want to increase my sarcasm. But I also think giving him a lot of information is better. Increase my verbosity. Yeah. I know the rundown, Lieutenant Colonel Moore replies sharply. You may be with the 3rd, but right now you're working for me, understood? Yes, sir, but Major Cloud said understood. Yes, sir. I would say understood, but that would reduce my verbosity, and I don't want that. Yes, sir. Excellent, Lieutenant Colonel Moore replies. Right now I need you to lead these men like you've never left the saddle. Afterward, if you... The crack of machine gun fire drowns out whatever the Lieutenant Colonel was going to say next. He stabs his finger toward the flashes on the rise that overlooks the beach. Go get that son of a bitch before he stitches up any more of our men. That is definitely an order. The mission, take the machine gun position. The men suffer no more than light casualties. Alright, easy peasy. There's the objective. First. Alright, this can see the entire beach. But if we move along the coast, they've got Garbo visibility. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. Oh, they got equal visibility on all these locations. Are any of these dunes cover? Does not appear so. We have a machine gun. What kind of visibility does it have? Not great. But good visibility here. Okay, we got some cover. Alright. So how do I want to do this? I think the first thing is I want to recon by fire and weapon range into this house and figure out if there's any enemies in it. Because if there aren't, I can occupy that. This is our enemy. Vichy French unit. I have the ability to attack them. Sure would be nice if I can bolster. In fact, I'll probably do that with my lieutenant reasonably soon. Can my machine gun hit? Yes, they can. Alright, so let's... Oh, because they're directly under this guy. Alright. So he's a lieutenant colonel. Is he acting as a captain? He must be. Because I've got the take command ability here. So. Alright, we'll start with our main fella. Let's select only the squad. Are they not able to reach? I think they can. All right. Who's in that house? Nobody. All right. Very good. So we're going to move our leader forward. He gets shot at, but that is what it is. Let's bolster this unit.
Go full out!
And shoot at this cavalry squad. All
Hit
right,
them hard, ladies!
we won the initiative at least. Good. Took a casualty. Unfortunate. Alright, now. MG. I'm going to take command of this unit. And we're going to hoof it forward.
Don't get frisky!
Still don't have eyes on that position, unfortunately. So, best plan I got is keep shooting at this enemy. Let's go ahead and... I got some command points left over with this guy. Let's go ahead and bolster first squad. And we'll bolster our current unit as well. And then we'll take a shot.
Qu'est-ce qu'ils foutent là? Pourquoi on se bat contre eux?
Trying to keep them as suppressed as I can. So this unit's going to go for the house here. Let's get them running. Can I press? No, I can only press a unit that's adjacent. If I press this unit, I can get them a little ways forward. And into that cover. I'm going to do it. I think it's worth it. Alright. Whew. That's a turn.
Debout!
Are you saying you can't get there? Why not? What does that mean? That enemy cavalry squad is fully suppressed. So why can't you get into this building?
Stay online.
We can get into the water, but I don't think that's wise. How do I do this? If I think I get some... What happens if I just try to move into this building? Too far. Okay. Interesting. Well, I definitely want to get them there. So, we'll move in, and then we'll head into that building. Alright, that should provide them some good defensive ground. Oh, they're hidden. Excellent. Oh, we're all hidden. Well, that's pretty rad.
Hit the dirt.
I think I'm going to grab... I'm going to move the Lieutenant Colonel here. Let me see. Lieutenant Murphy only has 2 orders left. So that's 1 unit forward, bolster, and then attack. So it's definitely going to have to be this unit. Lieutenant Murphy's got enough move to get there. This unit by itself has enough move to get there. I think, okay, so they can both get within spitting distance, but no reason to... Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the Lieutenant Colonel here. I'm going to bolster this unit here. Did that work? I think so. They didn't get their morale back, though. Which is kind of what I was hoping for. Okay, already bolstered. Alright, so... Lieutenant Murphy... So, we'll move this squad forward. It's going to take a morale check. Alright, success. We'll get Lieutenant Murphy in there with them. Oh no, I goofed that up. I goofed that up real bad. Alright, what does their charge look like? Half chance. Ah. Oh, I beefed it. I beefed it real bad. That having been said, second squad is bolstered right now. If I send them in, they'll have the ability to do it. So let's do it. We'll throw everything we've got at them. It's going to be hell to pay if this doesn't work. Just the squad. Too low morale? No! No! Oh, I beefed it! Oh, I beefed it! Alright, plan B. First, 30 cal. Take command. And shoot. Give him a belly full. Strain sucks. We're going to get chewed the heck up next turn. Alright, I'm going to send in the Lieutenant Colonel. This is an extremely risky maneuver I'm doing right here. This is... I'm getting way too impatient here. Also that unit. And these guys. Can I move by waypoints? No. Alright, let's see if they can get there.
They're waiting.
No. Cripes. Alright, we'll have these guys shoot. These do some damage. Alright. Alright, this is a bad situation. This is a bad situation. Turns left 3. Alright, so, first things first. I'm going to have Lieutenant Colonel rally this unit again. Wait. There's something that only happens... That's right. You only get extra points if you're in the same hex. That's what it is. Alright, so I'm going to send my officer into this unit. Can I get him in here? No. I'm going to move in, bolster, and charge. Finally got a visual to them. Still can't shoot. Bolster.
No speeches today. Get this done.
And assault. Come on, make it happen. Yes!
Move out.
Whew. Alright, so that enemy unit has surrendered. Nice. All right. Acting lieutenant? What just happened? Did I just lose it? Did I beef it? I think I beefed it. Interesting. All right. I've never lost an assault before. All right. So, okay. Not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. Okay. Let's rally the squads. You can only rally a squad you're on top of. Shame that I've added a new officer here because I really needed to be able to rally multiple units with the lieutenant colonel. But let's get that going, and let's get the machine gun moving up a little bit to get a clearer shot. And then we'll... Did he not rally them? What happened here? Rally, I said. But they... Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna let this turn go and see what happens next turn. Can't do that. Next turn. You rally your squad. You rally your squad. And still don't have a clear shot at the machine gun. So that'll be it for this turn. And next turn is shoot and assault. All right. All right, bolster. And shoot. Okay, so they're flanked. They've taken some casualties. Hoping that's enough. And then bolster. And then assault. Chances are real good. But the last one was too, and that didn't end up going super hot. You watch as Colonel Moore leads your men in the daring assault with only a pistol in hand. The French do not even have time to surrender before the gun pit is captured. I only got a minor victory for the mission. Alright. Minor wound, some stragglers return. Okay, alright, so I lost these two squads in that assault. That's brutal. I am not pleased with the way that went, because I had them fully suppressed. I had a bolster order. I know it's sometimes the luck of the draw, but like, I don't know, that hurts. It hurts. Anyway, it is what it is. We did our best. We took the position, and you know, these things happen. Again, as Churchill says, going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. So, we'll continue with the story until the beginning of the next battle.
Off Casablanca stood the convoy from America. To the troops aboard spoke their commander, General Patton.
Soldiers and sailors, it is not known whether the French African army will contest our landing. But all resistance, by whomever offered, must be destroyed. However, when any of the French soldiers seek to surrender, you will accept it and treat them with the respect due a brave opponent and future ally. Remember, the French are not Nazis or Japs.
Oof. All right, a flash of distant shells. The French. Firsts. Boat after boat crashes onto the shore. Mission minor victory. Force the battalion commander to take the objective. Okay, well, not for lack of trying. Major victory casualties numbered fewer than 4 for the men. All right, good. Nice. Colonel Moore spares you a withering glance that heads back to the surf. His job is bigger than one gun pit. There is an entire battalion under his command. Naturally, you hurry over to your men. Where the hell is Roberts, anyway? Private Patterson says when you finally get there. You're about to enter a crucible. Mindset chart your development as a leader. You may add additional mindsets as your perspective on how to accomplish tasks increases. Mindsets also influence gameplay both on and off the battlefield. A crucible occurs whenever traumatic events unfold and represents the internal struggle soldiers undertake in order to come to grips with the impact of war. There is no single answer to this riddle. Choose thoughtfully. Smoke drifts past and brings the scent of burnt cordite. The enemy's rough gun pit is littered with the detritus of battle. Spent casings, discarded clips, and a crumpled figure in olive drab at the edge. A low moan rises up as you and Sergeant Grant hurry over to the fallen soldier. A flash of distant artillery strips away the darkness to reveal an American private, splinters of his shattered rifle beside him. From the look, he's been here longer than your platoon. He clutches at his chest, blood seeping beneath his fingers. Oh, God! The wounded soldier wheezes out plaintively, gulping down a ragged breath. Sergeant, look after him, see what we can do. Risk landing to try to find a medic. The less involved I am with this, the better. See what we can do. You kneel beside the wounded soldier, the sand shifting beneath your knee. Sergeant Grant does the same. The wounded man's eyes peer toward you. LT? His voice is wet and croaking, but it's one you've heard many times before. Hancock? Grant blurts out. You blink hard. Beneath the blood and sand, it is Hancock. Don't move, Hancock. Where are you hit? Apply pressure to Hancock's wound. What am I doing? I'm not a medic. Don't move, Hancock. Can't move, Hancock says. Was running. Then the blood won't stop. Sergeant Grant shifts Hancock's bloody dog tags aside to give you a better angle. Private Hancock shudders. His clammy skin is deathly pale. So cold, he says. In a whisper, he tugs out a slender book from his pocket. Pages damp with salt. How bad? Grant shakes his head. Alright, so this man's dying. My best chance of helping him pull through at this point, as someone with no medical training, is to give him a little hope. But I also don't want to lie to him. I don't have any assurance that a medic will be by soon, so I'm just going to say it won't be long. Oh, Hancock says ever so softly. His hand falters. The book falls into the sand. Answers are Hancock. We'll keep fighting your fight. Who do I write to? My God, what do I say? Who should I write to? Hancock convulses beneath your hands. His breathing rises in gasps and falls in weak limp coughs. Then it stops. The men watch from cover as Sergeant Grant reaches out and lifts the thin paperback from where it fell atop the sand. The red badge of courage, Grant reads softly from the tattered cover as a star shell arcs overhead and then casts a pale yellow glow above. He then tries to figure out how to tuck it back into the deceased's pocket without forcing the issue. My father gave me a copy before I joined up. Guess I wasn't the only one. Yeah, by a 19th century journalist about the Civil War. I've actually read this book. It's interesting. A bookmark falls from the pages. A black and white photograph of a high school football team with a dozen young men looking towards the camera with conviction. Hancock is one of them. You did everything you could, and he is still dead. The men are silent, reverent as they look to the sky, down at the sand, or off into the distance. They too are trying to make sense of it all. Realism +1, trust +15, combat fatigue +20. Okay, I feel like I hope I did the right thing. Grant's hands shake as he passes over one of the dog tags. The other he returns to the body. Your fingers brush aside sand and grit as you grasp the metal square, the edges sticky with blood. The Army's summary of Hancock's life lies in your hands, along with the name of his next of kin, Helen Hancock, 107 North 27th Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. Probably his wife. She'll be getting a terrible telegram. Hancock should have used a grenade or tried something else. Then you could be writing the report that would give him a medal instead of this. Hancock should have used a grenade or tried something else. Then you could be writing the report that would give him a medal instead of... this. There we go. Pretty good second take. All this is going in the final edit. Sergeant Grant gathers a burial detail. He drives his entrenching spade into the earth. The dead soldier's helmet goes on top to mark the spot where he fell. These moments are not for one man, but for our unit. Discipline acquired. Combat fatigue plus 20. Realism plus 2. Graves registration will take things from here. Combat fatigue plus 10. Realism plus 1. No. But professionalism mindset acquired. Okay. Hancock died because he couldn't think of another way. Cunning mindset advanced. He charged and it nearly worked. Zeal mindset. Fatigue and realism. Fatigue plus 10. Realism plus 1. Or Hancock had the right idea, but he needed support. Idealism. Realism 2. Combat fatigue plus 20. I'm accruing a lot of combat fatigue early, but I'm also getting some realism. I really want discipline. Discipline seems really strong. I would love to get no penalties and advanced cunning, but let's invest in discipline from here. Again, it'll get us some combat fatigue, but also some realism, and that's good. You take a moment to consider Hancock's corpse. Maybe your men will understand now why you always bust their balls. You are all in this together, not as individuals, but as one unit. Together you are strong. Discipline acquired, combat fatigue plus 20, and realism plus 2. That's very good. Nearby, the men of First Squad crouch in the dark as artillery thunders in the distance. They too are thinking about Hancock. They too are trying to figure it out. Hell of a thing, Sergeant Grant says softly. It hits hard, you know, and the younger guys will take it even harder. I hope I can help them. Tell me about combat fatigue. There will be much more of this. There'll be much more of this. Tell me about combat fatigue. No one really goes untouched by their first bloody fight. In the last war, they called it shell shock and tried to figure out how to treat it so that veteran soldiers could keep fighting. From the Epic of Gilgamesh to the present day, soldiers have dealt with the strain of battle in different ways. Every day, every loss will eat away at them, blotting out their joys until they either fall into despair or break. Every time a unit takes, or to a lesser extent inflicts, casualties, they'll gain combat fatigue. They also gain it when they're heavily suppressed by the enemy. Combat fatigue persists from scenario to scenario, and the more it has, the greater the chance it will acquire a point of stress that will lower the effective morale of a unit. Stress rises from combat. Combat fatigue makes stress more likely. Rise from combat events. From events or combat, it can be a nasty spiral. Time away from combat helps the most. Good leadership may keep the men together. At first, the fatigue will be unmanageable. I will do what I can for them. Time away from combat helps the most. Between the scenarios, you may have a chance to lower their combat fatigue, but you will never eliminate it completely. Good leadership may keep the men together. A good leader can keep the men focused on task by having a chat, giving a speech, or even dressing down a dispirited soldier. This is the usual way to reduce combat fatigue, and it works a little, but it can never fully eliminate what is built up. At first, the fatigue will be unmanageable. Green soldiers rapidly gain combat fatigue, veterans less so. I'll do what I can for them. A deep voice abruptly bellows from the dark. Hold your fire, officer coming through. You turn to see Captain Lamb striding towards you, silhouetted against the dark by flashes of artillery fire. Walking before him is a wet, sand-covered and utterly weaponless Private Roberts. The enlisted man's eyes are wide and fearful as the captain nods him forward. I believe this is one of yours? Captain Lamb asks you pointedly. I can say, yes, sir, he's Roberts, part of the platoon, or figured I'd be writing his wife. Yes, sir, he's Roberts, he's part of the platoon. I'm tempted to ask if you need him back, Captain Lamb says. All my runners went in the drink when we hit a reef, and I haven't seen one of them yet. Of course I need him. A little mud never hurt a soldier. He may have lost his weapon, but he's here. I'd rather he drove a truck. I mean, look at him. Do we shoot cowards? We're only implying that he derelicted his duty here, is the thing. So I don't want to say this. He may have lost a weapon, but he's here. True, but not convincing, Captain Lamb notes. Robert gives a little gulp, and the captain fixes him with the weighty gaze of a disappointed father. I want to hear what he's got to say for himself. Sergeant Grant cocks a skeptical glance at the bedraggled private. Nearby, Morris and Patterson lean in to listen. On the beach, a new line of Higgins boats slowly gropes its way towards shore. The place where Hancock's body lies, Robert's friend, is just a few steps away. Roberts, Hancock just died trying to take this position. Roberts, you should know Hancock died. Focus on Lamb's question. Extra prestige. So I can get 10 trust out of this. I can get 5 XP for all squads for the second one. Or focus on Lamb's question plus 1 prestige. I do want to keep building up prestige, but 5 XP to all squads is pretty good. Roberts, you should know Hancock died. Oh, what if I... This one feels like the best way to guilt trip him, but... I want XP more than I need trust directly. Roberts, you should know that Hancock died. Roberts just stares at you, eyes blinking in the gray dawn. No, he was... He looks to Sergeant Grant. Grant tenders over a small shake of his head. Roberts shoots a glance at Morris and Patterson, but there's nothing funny to be said. At last, Roberts turns back to you. Something shifts behind his eyes as he stuffs down a rising anger at the loss of his friend. I understand. Thanks for telling me. Thank you. I thought you'd be yelling at me. You seem to be too calm about this. Too broken up inside. Grief does strange things to a man. Grief does strange things to a man. Sure, other men, Lieutenant, Roberts replies, like the ones I'm gonna go after. I'm not sure I want Roberts in my platoon right now. Amend my initial feeling. Find a rifle, Private, reconsider my initial feeling. Captain, Roberts shouldn't be here right now. Stick with my initial feeling. Captain, I don't want Roberts with the rifle. Downgrade my initial feeling. Roberts, you're unlucky and clumsy, soldier. Greatly downgrade my initial feeling. I am not clear on what the initial feeling was. I'm not clear that I expressed an initial feeling. So it sounded like that was kind of a foregone conclusion. Captain Roberts shouldn't be here right now. If we weren't short on riflemen, I'd take him as an orderly for the duration, Captain Lamb indicates. But we need Roberts on the firing line. However, Roberts falls in with the platoon. Patterson finds him a rifle, Morris passes over a clip, and Roberts racks in a round. Okay, I guess that decision isn't... I guess I was only really deciding about a feeling. Lieutenant Colonel Moore approaches, kicking up sand as he goes. He heads right for Captain Lamb. Captain, I acquired this platoon. Cutting off Lamb's startled reply, he turns to you. Lieutenant, I know you'll be wanting to catch your breath, but I need you and your men back on your feet. You've got a few more units on this beach that made it ashore intact. You must have had one hell of a coxswain, and let me tell you, I want him promoted. He glances over his shoulder at the dark beach where the next wave is navigating the approach. Robert struggles to locate his flashlight, no doubt to examine his new rifle, but Morris smacks him out of his hand before the other private can flick it on. Now when I give you the order to fight, you did just that, the Lieutenant Colonel notes, having thankfully missed the little exchange between privates. And you got things done in a trice. I need that now. There's a group of German officers, old nags from the last war, that they've put back into harness on an armistice commission that bullies the French around. Secure them from the hotel Miramar in Fedala before they can run off into the desert on us. You've got to move quick. Company A will be there to hold your hand when the French finally wake up. Understand? Snap off a crisp salute. Understood, sir. We'll find a way to do it, sir. I think A Company's going to be lonely. I think A Company's going to be lonely. That's the spirit. Go get my Germans, Lieutenant Colonel Moore orders. A crack of wood heralds yet another boat broaching on a reef. Lieutenant Colonel Moore motions for Lamb to follow as he stalks away, yelling and cursing at the waterlogged arrivals. Captain Lamb catches her eye. You know what to do, Captain Lamb calls out of the din. The rest of Nickel Company will be along. Then he turns and follows the Lieutenant Colonel back toward the chaos along the shore. All right. So, pretty good scenario. I took an injury. I'm going to take a quick look and see if I can figure out what that means. This is trust. Okay, so trust is pretty rock solid. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Can I see the injury that I took from leading that assault in a failure anywhere. Casualties, disabled. This is combat fatigue here. Stress. They got a little stress. Okay, so I can reduce that at the cost of loyalty. All right. All right. Anyway, we'll get more into that next episode. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.